Hello.
Hello. Sorry to catch you with your
No,
mouthful.
no, not at all. Could you grab one of
Taking
those
a little
books on the
snack.
table behind you for me?
Oh, wouldn't that be nice? I wish this was a real room. I
I
really
knew it.
do. Good.
How are you?
How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right.
So, when we meet Lucas and even a little bit into the season, he's quite enigmatic. What's your perception of him?
Ooh, enigmatic. Well, I think that he's a dreamer through and through. I think that he's one of these people in the silo that never quite fit in with everyone else and is driven by his curiosity. And, he's a lover, he's not a fighter. And he wants to know what's out there. Is there more to all of this than what we see?
What do you think drives him to study the lights in the sky?
It's a good question. That in the silo, there are things like light bulbs and electricity and computers and all these inventions that when, I don't know, Galileo was looking up at the stars did not exist. And yet I think it's that dichotomy between what they do know and what they don't that really drives him. How can they live in this giant structure and yet not know anything about the outside world? Something that they've mastered their environment and yet they can't really go outside. I think that must really pick at him, and also probably the romanticism of once upon a time they used to live outside. Why no more?
And do you think that there are other people like him in the silo that are also trying to figure out the intricacies of what was and what is?
Sure, sure. I think that there are always going to be people amongst us, who who ponder and who wonder and who are driven by curiosity. I think maybe what sets Lucas apart from them is I think he's got a real fastidiousness about how much he pursues that. I think maybe for others it might be a passing fancy, but for him, it really is the thing that wakes him up in the morning and keeps him up at night. And so, there's a real dedication to that curiosity.
I've read the books, but I'm kind of curious. What did they tell you about, like, why this oral history has been retained, like with things such as light bulbs, and yet the outside is? I mean, it surprised me when they said, "Oh, look, what are those lights in the sky?" That they didn't know they were stars.
Yeah.
Just because you can't see them yourself doesn't mean you wouldn't know what they are.
Right. I mean, I suppose it poses a really interesting question about what is taught and what is not taught to these people. And if the purpose is always to sort of keep them under control, then, you can kind of work your way backwards from there about, what about exploration is dangerous and what about exploration is safe. I think, in terms of when I got the script and spoke to Graham about the story and about what Lucas knows and doesn't know, I think um, the lights the lights are sort of arbitrary in that it just happens to be a thing that he can see. I think really what he's driven to sort of figure out is what else is there for them, you know? And the
Right.
lights just happen to be this beautiful thing. The cosmos is unbelievable. Um, even for us who don't live outside the silo, if you just kind of lay down one night and you look up at the sky, it really kind of puts some of, our big problems and little problems into perspective, I think.
Absolutely. What do you think are the dangers of allowing a society to become complacent and just accept what's now without questioning why anything,
I mean, so much, right? I mean,
right?
I throw back at you, what is the danger of a society in which truth is up for whoever publishes first or whoever sort of gets the most clicks? It's a real question that I think we need to debate and we need to grapple with, because we currently live in a world in which information is omnipresent, and that has reduced the value of information, and they live in a world in which information is so minute and so protected by the few that ignorance is the norm. And I think in both cases you're left with a society that struggles to communicate, and you're left with a society that struggles to understand um, their direction and their place within the grander scheme of things. So it's really dangerous, I think, to be left in ignorance, you know, um, as it is to be in a world in which truth doesn't seem to matter.
It's elusive. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.